Good morning. My name is Lenita Enriquez. I am the hearing officer today for the San Francisco Public Works hearing. The clerk this morning is Nathan Rodas, and this hearing is being recorded. My job as the hearing officer is to gather facts for each individual hearing item, listen to your testimonies, and help our Director of Public Works make determinations. I will not be making any decisions today. Instead, I will forward my findings to the hearing clerk, and you will be made aware of the decisions within a couple of months, I believe, Nathan, is that correct?
Actually, it's a couple of weeks.
A couple of weeks, I'm sorry, a couple of weeks. My determinations will go to the Public Works Director, and from there you'll be notified. So I would like to begin the hearing and call the first item. I'm sorry, I'm pulling up the agenda. Looks like first item is order number 206123. Is that correct?
Yep. And Danny Fan is here from Public Works to present.
Hi, Danny.
So can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes, I can.
All right. Good morning. Well, my name is Danny Fan. I'm a project manager with the Infrastructure Task Force, and I'll be presenting this item in regard to a developer's request for exception to the subdivision regulations for the Treasure Island Yerba Buena Island project. Just to set the stage, this project is a major development agreement project that's being developed by Treasure Island Community Development, or TICD, and it will produce up to 8,000 homes, including below market units, extensive parks and open spaces, a ferry terminal, which was just opened last week, an expanded marina, hotels, restaurants, retail, entertainment, and art. This is a high priority project subject to the Mayor's Executive Directive 17-02, which requires city agencies to expedite the permitting and construction of at least 5,000 homes per year. The Public Works Infrastructure Task Force is managing the design, coordination, permitting, construction, inspection, and acceptance of the overall infrastructure improvements, including sewer, water, and electrical lines, roads and sidewalks, and other critical infrastructure. Phase 1 of the project is currently under construction now, which includes Yerba Buena Island and the southeast corner of Treasure Island, as shown on the map. And stage 2-3 is currently in design and covers the northeast corner of Treasure Island. And we'll be focusing on this area for the purpose of this hearing. Zooming into this area, you can see that stages 2 and 3 are separated, with the streets in stage 2 on the right in blue starting construction this year, and stage 3 to follow in a few years. As is typical of development projects of this scale, the streets and infrastructure are built in stages in order to match and support the construction schedules of the individual vertical development lots on the island. And in this case, buildings will be built in stage 2 first. There will be 4 horizontal streets built in stage 2-3, Phillips Lane, Mackey Lane, Borgetta Lane, and Peacemaker Street. And the blue circles indicate intersections with other public streets that will also be built in those stages. Typically, streets on development projects will be built from intersection to intersection, then inspected and approved by Public Works, and then taken to the Board of Supervisors for formal acceptance. However, 2 of the streets, Mackey Lane and Borgetta Lane, will span both stages 2 and 3, and will not have an intersection in the middle at the dividing line. This means that the developer will build roughly half of the street in stage 2, and will request the city to accept the incomplete street segment, and will then later build the remainder of the street in stage 3. Since building half a street would result in a dead end, the developer would be required to construct a fire truck turnaround, which could be used by all vehicles, into the private parcel that will be the future Eastside Commons Park, and keep it in place until the second half of the street is built and opened. The subdivision regulations state that the city shall accept only full, complete, and functional public streets for purposes of city maintenance and liability. And full and complete and functional streets include the full length of the public right-of-way from intersection to intersection. Therefore, the subdivider is requesting an exception to allow them to offer and the city to accept 2 of the street lots, Lot C and Lot AD, which will not terminate in an intersection on one side at the time of acceptance. Public Works has consulted with the impacted city agencies, including the City Attorney's Office, SFPUC, SFMTA, and the Fire Department. And we recommend that the director grant this exception request pursuant to Subdivision Code Section 1712, to allow the subdivider to offer these incomplete street segments for city acceptance with the following conditions. One, the developer will construct a temporary vehicular turnaround and any other temporary measures or conditions and leave them in place until the full street segments are built. Two, the developer will provide a temporary public access easement or restriction to ensure public access to the turnaround at all times, which will terminate once the full streets are accepted. And three, the developer will coordinate with the private job corp's property where Peacemaker Street ends to ensure a proper roadway transition. That concludes my presentation, and I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public for this particular item? Okay.
Please use the raise your hand feature if you would like, so I can allow you to speak.
Okay. Thank you, Danny, for your presentation. I don't have any questions at this time.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. So moving on, the next item is 206135.
I believe William Blackwell is presenting. So, Mr. Blackwell, I just promoted you to panelist, so you should be able to share. Can you hear us, Mr. Blackwell? Just in case you're on mute.
You're on mute. You're logged in twice, but you're on mute for both of them.
I wasn't sure which one he was using, so I just promoted both to panelists. Oh, there he is.
Good morning.
Oh, you have to unmute yourself, Mr. Blackwell. There you are.
Sorry,
That's okay.
first time. Good morning. My name is William Blackwell. I'm the acting city and county surveyor, Public Works Department, Bureau of Street Use and Mapping for San Francisco. Treasure Island and Yerba Buena Island project revised tentative map number 10347 for minor amendments to the tentative map number 347, including 1, reallocation of the maximum authorized residential condominium unit count among the 3 proposed lots. 2, changes to the lot lines for several proposed street lots to achieve better consistency with the associated improvement plans, and which do not change the width of or any proposed street or affected adjacent lots. 3, minor changes to lot lines to avoid a lot line from overlapping with the existing historical building. It's building number 3. That would be pursued as part of the project. And 4, adjustments to the interior lot lines of a privately owned block comprised of numerous small lots. All testimony and materials included but not limited to the Treasure Island and Yerba Buena Island Design Development Agreement, the Treasure Island and Yerba Buena Island Disposition and Development Agreement, the 2014 Economic Development Conveyance Memorandum of Agreement, the 2015 Treasure Island Yerba Buena Island Streetscape Master Plan, staff reports, comments, responses, and other information from other concerned governmental agencies and utilities, and the information submitted by or on behalf of the subdivider, and other comments, responses, and information provided in connection with this application have been considered. Public Works recommends that the tentative map number 10347 submitted on February 22nd, 2022, together with the subsequent supplemental data as requested by the city, be approved, subject to compliance with our findings and conditions.
Okay. Is there, where can I didn't get a copy of the map. Is there a map to see, the original map, and where you would like the revisions to be? The revised?
I thought it was in the package that was sent to you. We can forward you a copy.
Thank you. That would. Okay, thank you. Is there any public comment for this item? Okay.
Again, if there's anyone that would like to speak regarding this item, please use the raise your hand feature so I can allow you to speak. Do not see anyone raising their hands. So I guess we can move on to the third
Okay,
item.
then we'll move on to the third and final item. It's order 206154.
Who is presenting this item? That's raising their hand. Okay, Leo, I'll promote you to panelist. Thank you, Mr. Blackwell.
Thank you.
I believe we have Leo Palacios from Public Works presenting on the final item.
Hello, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
Okay, good. Good morning. My name is Leo Palacios, and I'm from Public Works Bureau of Street Use and Mapping. We call a hearing today to adopt revisions to Public Works Code Article 27, contained in Public Works Order 205791. Public Works Code Article 27 regulates the installation of surface-mounted facilities in the public right-of-way. Under California law, telephone corporations have a right to install poles in the public right-of-way for their telecommunication facilities. Because of the interest from wireless carriers to install standalone poles in the public right-of-way as surface-mounted facilities, late last year, Public Works adopted Public Works Order number 205791 to allow for and regulate the permitting of standalone poles for wireless service facilities as surface-mounted facilities. As part of Order number 205791, Public Works included a design criteria which were approved by the Planning Department and the Recreation and Parks Department. Earlier this year, Verizon Wireless started submitting applications for surface-mounted facility site permits for its standalone poles. Due to certain design changes that Verizon has made and certain PG&E requirements, it became clear that Public Works revisited the design criteria. The design criteria needed to be revised. In particular, we needed to eliminate the references to 4G and 5G and focus on the size and design of the shrouds, which where the equipment will be placed. We also need to add that a meter and a cutoff switch could be installed to 8 feet as required by PG&E. The proposed revisions include those and other small modifications to the design criteria contained in Exhibit G. In addition, there is a modification to surface-mounted facility order to make it clear the process for approval of a surface-mounted facility site permit if the proposed design does not meet the design criteria. The applicant needs to obtain approval from the Planning Department and or the Recreation and Parks Department. The proposed changes result from a collaborative effort with the Planning Department and the Recreation and Parks Department, which are the city agencies responsible for neighborhood aesthetics. The purpose of this hearing is to provide a forum for stakeholders and members of the public to make comments to the revisions. We also need to make just two minor changes to the submitted order. First, Mrs. Short should be identified as the interim director, not the acting director. And second, Mr. Huff's name is spelled Nicholas without the H, and the current order has Nicholas with the H. So we propose to make that minimal change. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo. Is the applicant here? If you would like to speak, please use the raise your hand feature so I can allow you to speak. All right. Hello.
Morning, Melanie Sengupta for Verizon Wireless. We support the changes that DPW Planning and the Rec and Parks Department have proposed.
This will allow for public comment now if no one else from the applicants would like to speak.
Are there any other public comments for this item or any of the three items that were presented today? If you joined late, you are able to still give public comment on the other two items.
We'll give them a few seconds to figure out. Again, if you would like to speak, please use the raise your hand feature so I can allow you.
Okay, well, if there are no more public comments for this item or the other two items, I have listened to all presentations and I will conclude the hearing for today. My recommendations will go to the Director of Public Works and you'll receive final notification within the next 2 weeks. So this hearing is concluded.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.